know who I am. I'm Calamity Jane. Everybody's heard of that, haven't they? Haven't you? Oh yeah, I haven't heard about this guy yet, but I'm going to. I'm going to find out before the end of the day. Now I come up here, I was one of the first women. Now I wasn't the first woman up here, but when I come up here, I was one of the first. But you know what? They didn't really make a big fuss about it, because you know what? When I was coming up here, I was doing scouting. I did some scouting, I did some army work, I did some dispatches. I ran money from here to Custer. You talk about a dangerous trail. I'd like to see one of you do that. It wasn't easy, but I did it. I did it for 6 years. 1870 to 1876, I did scouting with Custer. You've heard of Custer, Custer's last stand. Yeah, I was supposed to be with them. But I did some dispatching. Oh, I was going to the Platte River, is what I did. And then I had to do 80, 90 miles. I did a long ride after that. I don't remember. I got sick as heck. Sick as heck. I ended up in the hospital. And you know what? Custer took his last stand. 263 of his men, I think it was. Not one of them got out alive. I was supposed to be there with them. Thank goodness I wasn't. Instead, when I got out of the hospital, I got a telegraph saying, well, there's people coming up. So I went to Fort Laramie. I thought, well, there's got to be some excitement there. Because the thing is, I grew up an orphan. I had a mom and dad, but we had mom, and we went up to, it's Virginia City, Montana, is where we took our family. We immigrated from Missouri because we thought we'd make a better life. So we went up to Montana, and that's right when the gold rush was coming through Montana. Yeah, I bet you didn't hear a lot about that, but Montana had a heck of a gold rush too. So we went up there, we had some land and stuff. Well, then Mama died, got sick and died. Well, then we went to Utah to do some work, and Daddy got here. And then I was on my own. I had some brothers and sisters. I didn't know what to do, so I just kind of followed the mining and the railroad camps. They was coming up across the nation here. They was on the right side of the nation and the left side, but the middle was just kind of filling in the gaps. So I'd go around to all these different camps and the railroad towns. I liked it. Because those guys could work hard and they played hard, and I liked that. They cussed, they drank, so I learned everything I know from them. And you know, I liked them. I liked how they did it. So I started doing the same thing. And before you know it, when you're coming up in them camps, you figure out it's a lot better off if you just blend right in. Especially if you're a girl. You don't want to end up cooking all the time, do you? No, that's not for me. I like adventure and excitement and exploring. And I like to not be told what to do. So I just went up and I just decided I'd borrow one of the fellas' clothes. I just blend right in. And that's what I started doing. I learned how to hunt. I always knew most of that. Because when I was a little child, I had to help my family out. You know, so that's what I did. I just blend right in. Blend right in. So you don't see a lot of records of women serving in the Army because they did it back then. But I did. There was a few of them. And you'll hear stories about this Calamity Jane and that Calamity Jane. No, I'm the only one. There was one in Denver there. Her name was Calamity Jane. She overturned some type of buggy. That wasn't me. That wasn't me, because I'm still here. And I would never overturn a buggy in Denver. You see Rush Hour there? I would never do that. That is silly. Yeah, you want to know how I got my name? Anybody? Anybody know how I got my name? No. Oh boy, you guys better pick up a book. Maybe when you go to bed tonight, you ought to read a little book or something. Well, nobody knows the true stories about Calamity Jane, see, because back then we didn't have everything we had now. It was different. So this person would write a story, and then I'd go up right to that news station. I'd say, sir, I don't like what you wrote there. And I'd pull my pistol on him. Well, then he'd retract the statement. See, everybody thought they knew about me. I got my name because I was doing scouting. I decided to do something with this fella, so I'm out doing some exploring and scouting with this guy, and I didn't know him real well, so I'm riding a quarter, half a mile ahead of him, and I'm looking back, where's my partner? Where'd he go? Oh shoot, he's all laid up back there, he's all banged up and cut up and shot up. Oh man, his horses ran off. So what am I gonna do, leave him out there in the wilderness? No, I went back. I have a good heart. I went back and I got him, threw him up over my horse. Well, later on we got back to the cabin, and I get him a little bit of something to eat and drink. Well, later that night, he comes to, he wakes up and he looks right up at me and he says, "You're an angel." And I said, "No, I'm Martha Jane Cannery." And he said, "Well, Martha Jane, you're sure handy to have around in a Calamity." Yeah, and I was that day. I saved his life. He said, "Well, this day forward, I will call you Calamity Jane." And I said, "Well, that's better than some things." So I went with it. And you know, it stuck with me. It stuck with me. And one of the reasons I got so stinking famous, you see the sign out there, don't you? Out there it says, "Where Western legends were born." Well, I wasn't born here, like I said, but I got so famous because of those dime novels. Any of you ever read a dime novel? Oh, they didn't cost a dime. They were more like 3 to 5 cents. Kind of misleading, but this fella did these dime novels, and he had me in these novels. Everybody loved the American West. They wanted to be part of it. Well, guess what? I was. Because I jumped the gun, and when I heard there was excitement and stuff going on in the Black Hills, I said, "That's for me. I'm going." So I did. I come up with one of the first groups. And we come up here. Well, those dime novels had me marrying Deadwood Dick, and then we had a kid, and the kid got kidnapped, and then he cheated on me and had this other lady. He married. Well, that wouldn't happen because I would have shot him if that would have happened. That's what happened in these dime novels, and everybody just took it and ran. They just took it and ran with it. Pretty soon, they had me married, Deadwood Dick, and everybody else. Well, that's not what really happened. But nobody was here in the West because it was too stinking dangerous to come check out for yourself. So they just lived through these dime novels, and they read them, and then they think they knew what was going on. Well, I'll tell you what's really going on. This is a dangerous town. It sure was when I come here. A death a day was the average. That's what they've been told, a murder a day. Now, they didn't happen out in the streets, all of them, I can show you. Some of them did. The ones that we do out here in the street, those are all true. It's all stuff that really happened, but a lot of them happened out at the claims where people had their gold mining operations, and then the hotels and the houses everywhere out in the hills. That's where the murders happened. They got to be so many of them, they started doing double boards on the hotels and the saloons here. So a lot of them, if you go in there, you wonder why they got double boards on the floors. Well, that's why, because the gunshots won't go through two. They'll go through one. I wonder how many people had to get shot before they figured that one out. Somebody must have. Makes you thinking, there's 8 months of winter here. Somebody had to be digging a grave at least half of every one of them days. 8 months out.
So we promise to do dishes for our mamas. And to keep Marshall May away from any more jelly donuts. Hands together, we're brothers and sisters. Come along now, we're gonna sing, go get it. Oh, yeah! Give him a big hand, there it was. All right, before we go any further on here, I'd like to ask one big favor. Every one of you, throughout this gunfight, please remain on the sidewalks. That's okay if you dangle your feet over the edge, that's no problem. Please do not stand in the gutter itself. Don't stand on this street. We are using an 1858 Remington in this one, Captain Ball revolver. That's loaded up with 15 grains of black powder. And on top of that, we tamp that down in cream of wheat cereal. We're serial killers. And on top of that, we put Crisco so we don't get a crossfire from cylinder to cylinder there. We've never had an accident here in Deadwood at a gunfight, never ever, unless somebody walks down the street, right through our show.
You guys can't punch the mic here, you don't
And if anybody does come out in the street, we stop the show, is what we have to do, just for your safety, and actually for our safety. All righty. Ain't good away, Wyatt. Street there. Oh, he's good. getting persistent.
Maybe next time.
All right, howdy, folks. I know it's hot out today, and we can do better than that. You folks are all in the shade. Let's try this again. Howdy, folks. Howdy. There we go. Thank you so much. My name is Wyatt Earp, and I'm here to tell you a true tale about this gunfight. Back in September of 1876, there was an Irishman by the name of Con Stapleton. He was elected Deadwood's first and only town marshal. But you see, there was a bit of a problem. Back in 1868, the U.S. government signed a treaty in Laramie City, and it gave all the Black Hills from the Big Horn Mountains all the way over the Missouri River to the Lakota people. So Con, well, he actually had no jurisdiction here. That's true. But despite that fact, his many exploits are well documented, including this from the 14th of January, 1877.
Well, boys, this is just the way I like it. All nice and peaceful like.
Yeah, that's a rare thing in this jam.
Oh, it sure is.
Hey, can one of you wake up old Raspberry there? You know he's got to get up to his cabin before it gets dark.
Oh, you guys leave old Raspberry alone. He's not hurting nobody. Besides, his old mule knows his way home without his help.
God bless the Union!
To the Union! Here's to Dixie. To Dixie.
All right, nobody moving, nobody get hurt. That goes for you too, Law Dog. And you, wipe that stupid grin from off your face.
Oh my God, he shot poor lunch.
You fellas take care of the line. I'm taking this scumbag to jail.
I don't believe it. He plumb missed the marshal and killed poor David dead. David? He's alive. David. Come on, let's help you up here.
Boy, that was a close one. I could have been a goner.
Hey, David. Oh, David, you got a bullet hole right in the middle of your forehead.
I'm sure it's nothing a good night's sleep won't fix.
David, at least let us help you hold. It's the least we can do for a man with a hole in his brain bucket.
I hate to be a bother to you fellas.
No, no bother.
And here's to you, boys! Boys? Where did they go? I'm coming, mule! Looks like Al done closed up and left me in here all by my lonesome again. Sure was dead in here tonight. I'm coming, Bob, you cantankerous old mule. I just gotta have one more little nap first.
Well, folks, strange only gets stranger. Not only did David Lunt walk out of Al Chapman's saloon, he kept walking the streets of Deadwood for 67 days with a bullet hole right there in the middle of his forehead. I know it's hard to believe, but it's true. Till one day, got a little bit of a headache, went up to the Continental Hotel to take a nap, and died in his sleep. The old Doc Babcock did the autopsy on him, said the only reason he died was because a piece of bone started abscessing the wound. And that's the way things really were in Deadwood in 1877 when David Lunt took a bullet to his noggin. Thanks for being here, folks, and have yourselves a great Deadwood day.